Nestled amidst the rolling hills and pristine lakes of northern Wisconsin lies the charming town of Crandon, the seat of Forest County. Crandon is a small town that most people have probably never heard of. With a population of barely over 1,700, it's a type of place that if you were to drive through it, you might easily forget it minutes later while you're on your way to any number of local outdoor activities like fishing, hiking, or camping in one of the nearby forests or lakes. But because of what happened in the early hours of October 7th, 2007, the city became front page news on several national outlets, an event so shocking to the community, I bet it's still brought up frequently by locals in the town's Main Street restaurant, the 1930 Jameson's Inn. Welcome back to Music City 911. Reading directly from the prepared statement to Wisconsin State Attorney General Van Hollen, written by the Department of Justice's Division of Criminal Investigation Administrator, Mike Majewski. Tyler Peterson spent the night of Friday, October 5th, 2007, at his parents' house. His parents reported that he slept in, but was in touch with him the next day. Shortly after 6 p.m. on Saturday, Peterson informed his father that he had plans for the evening. Peterson then visited Jordan Murray at the Eats and Treats restaurant in Crandon. He was there for only a minute and appeared to leave angry. Shortly before 8 p.m., Peterson called Joshua Collette to ask if he wanted to go shining deer. Collette said he declined and told investigators that Peterson sounded fine and said nothing about Jordan Murray. Around 8:30 to 8:45, Peterson met a group of people behind an apartment on North Lake Street. Peterson was invited to a drinking party at a different location, but he declined, citing the fact that he was underage and was worried about getting in trouble with his police jobs. But Peterson would drink. Between 10 p.m. and midnight, Peterson drove around the countryside, shining deer with Matt Carruthers and Katie Champeau. Carruthers estimated that Peterson drank 4 or 5 beers during that time, but did not get intoxicated. Peterson talked about going to Leona to see a girl, and dropped off Champeau and Carruthers at Carruthers' cabin on Gibson Lane, the Kegley property. Sometime shortly before 1:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, Peterson visited Michaela Smith and Ashley Clearman at an apartment on North Lake Street in Crandon. Peterson watched television with the two women for a while and then left. Peterson did not seem intoxicated or upset. He did not mention Jordan Murray. Though occupied by activity through the night, Peterson sent several text messages to Murray expressing his feelings for her and asking about their relationship. Murray responded that she needed time. Shortly before 2 in the morning, Peterson called Clearman and told her he was home and he was going to bed. Clearman said Peterson spoke clearly and seemed to be in a good mood. But Peterson did not go to bed. At about 2:30 in the morning, Peterson went to Jordan Murray's apartment at 201 North Hazeldale Avenue. Murray was home with several friends. I'm reading all this to take you up to the events of what happened that early morning. Up until this point, 20-year-old Tyler Peterson seemed like a normal young adult, with normal young adult friends and normal young adult problems. From reading that first bit of the report, you would think he's that normal guy, but friends and acquaintances would tell otherwise. He had been violent from an early age, starting in the 5th grade where he beat up a cousin and threw rocks at people. In the 6th grade, he strangled someone, but that kid later said that they were just fooling around. Despite occurrences like this, even though he was only 20 years old, he became a full-time deputy with the Forest County Sheriff's Department. He was also a part-time police officer for the city of Crandon. But these occupations didn't quell some of Tyler's emotions. For a while, he had a girlfriend mentioned previously, 18-year-old Jordan Murray. They lived together for a few weeks, but after a series of arguments and more, Jordan asked him to move out, which spurred a fight. Police were called and had to help calm him down after he ripped the cable connectors out of a television. Once at Jordan's place of work, Eats and Treats, Tyler pushed Jordan down and told her she wasn't to participate in an upcoming wedding and that she needed his permission to do normal things like going bowling. He then began obsessively stalking and harassing her with phone calls and texts. At around 2:30 a.m., the night of the report I was reading from, Tyler showed up at Jordan's apartment while she was having the get-together with friends to find her sitting on a bed, talking to and snuggling with another guy. He became enraged and punched Jordan, then pushed the other man over a couch. Everyone else that was there in the apartment began taunting him, calling him a worthless pig. He then left the apartment and went to his truck. Moments later, Forest County 911 dispatch receives their first of many calls.
Forest County 911?
Yes, this is Danelle Dashwood. I live over here by CarQuest.
Yeah.
There sounds like gunshots being fired.
Okay.
I don't know where they're coming from. It was two different sets. The first set went off, and now we just heard the second set.
And what is your address again?
104. They're running past Pac-Man.
They're running past Pac-Man? Somebody with a gun or what?
Does he have a gun? Can you see what he has? He just ran past Pac-Man.
Somebody did, but you don't know if they got a gun?
No.
The caller was reporting at around 2:45 in the morning. She heard a set of gunshots, then another set. She then sees someone running. The dispatcher, being that it's at a small agency, calls for an officer on the radio to start en route to the call. What he doesn't know is that there's already an officer there.
What is your name, ma'am?
Danelle Dashwood. Donnell.
57, I got Danelle Dashwood on the phone. She did hear what she believes is gunshots. By CarQuest, seen a man run past Pac-Man.
Pickup truck just went down Hazeldale, high speed.
My squad's been shot. I had a 23 round, 12 centimeters from my head. They went through my squad. He is shooting to kill. He is shooting to
Bob, get the kids down. Get the kids down.
Get down, ma'am. Get down. Grab that 911. Okay.
Get back. I'm hitting it. Right now, Bill, I'm hitting it. Bill on. He's in it.
Ma'am, can I put you on hold for a second?
Yeah.
Forest County 911.
He was shooting to kill. He shot right in my head. Forest Regional SWAT team.
1046.
It's my head 651. Immediately, now.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold, ma'am.
Thank you.
The radio traffic in the background, it's difficult to hear, but there was an officer in the area and heard the shots. As he turned in to investigate, he was met with a barrage of gunfire, rapid shots from a rifle. As the suspect was leaving, the officer managed to see who it was.
That fourth active shooter, I believe it's Deputy Peterson. My squad's been shot. I had 223 round, 12 centimeters from my head. It went through my squad. He is shooting.
He got a positive ID. It was Deputy Tyler Peterson. Referring back to the report I was reading from, while on routine patrol, Crandon Police Officer Greg Carter was the first officer on the scene. He heard shots and reported them to dispatch at 2:47 in the morning. Carter approached the North Hazeldale property in his marked squad car from the east and saw Peterson leaving, armed with the assault rifle. As Peterson moved from the apartment towards his truck, he saw Officer Carter's squad car. Carter lost visual contact for a moment, and suddenly, Peterson sprayed Carter's car with multiple rounds. Officer Carter's windshield burst from the gunfire, and windshield fragments struck the young officer in the face. Fortunately, the bullets missed Carter, but only by a matter of centimeters. In a matter of seconds that must have felt like an eternity, Carter put his car in reverse, backed away from the gunfire, exited his squad car, moved to cover, and called into dispatch. That emergency traffic was picked up on the 911 call I just played. The DCI report continues. I've been told that some have wondered why Carter didn't engage Peterson at that time. As a law enforcement officer with over 30 years of law enforcement experience, I can tell you real life isn't TV. Carter responded just as he was trained to respond. Carter was wounded. His vision was impaired. Peterson was more heavily armed and in a superior tactical position. Any of these factors obligated Carter to disengage. By doing so, Carter was able to radio into dispatch, giving authorities a positive identification. Peterson, too, knew that he had been identified and fled. By taking the actions he did, Officer Carter not only probably saved his own life, but he may have saved the lives of others. On the darkest of nights, Officer Carter was the brightest of stars. In this extremely busy time for dispatch, the calls just continued to come in, one right after the other.
Forest County 911.
Yeah, this is Jean Childers over at 203 North Hazeldale.
Yes, ma'am.
We got something going over out here, like automatic weapons or...
Okay, Jean, what's your address again?
203 North Hazeldale.
203 North Hazeldale.
I don't know which directions it's coming from, if it's Firecrack. It sounds like it's coming from in back of us in Fern Tyler's old house. A Gall lives back there, Gall.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold for just a minute, okay?
Sure.
Hello.
Yeah, I want to report. I don't know. It sounds like someone put an accident out or something.
Okay. Got to put you on hold, sir. Hang on.
Well,
Okay, I'm with you. Can you see what's going on, ma'am?
No, we can't. Archie thought it was a black Toyota Tundra truck just squealed out of here. I mean, like
Black Toyota Tundra?
like majorly.
Okay, did you get a license number?
No, we're inside the house.
Okay, where did you see which way it went?
It went down from Hazeldale toward Tyler's Root Beer Stand. It came down the
Okay,
side
I'm going to put
street.
you back on hold again.
Okay.
Yeah. Forest, all 600 units. Report of a black Toyota Tundra just left from the Hazeldale area where there were a report of shots fired. Peeled out of there very fast, heading towards Tyler's Drive-In.
Hey, Bill. We need you up in the pod now.
Okay, Gene, can you hear anything else?
this is Archie now.
Okay, Archie. Can you give us any other information?
That's about it for right now. I mean,
Okay,
they
I'm
were
gonna put
like
you down, okay?
okay. There's like rapid fire all over.
Still going on?
No, it's been done here.
Okay, real good.
Okay then.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye.
County 911.
There's somebody standing on the porch on this Hazeldale, on the shooting.
Okay.
Somebody is standing on the porch. I live across the street.
Do they have a gun?
I can't tell. I live at 206, so it's kitty corner.
206 Hazeldale.
Yes.
Do you know who it is?
No, but there are 2 Native Americans that live on the lower level. I'm not trying to say it's them, but there was a black Chevy pickup that just before the Suburban showed
Did it
up.
come in at high rate of speed?
Yes. They didn't come in, they left.
They left?
They live there.
Okay. But you don't know who they are?
No, I do not know who they are.
Okay.
There are people walking around outside, and the one looked like it had a gun, but I cannot tell. Somebody just went running into the house, though. Yeah.
Before 6, I tried contacting 601. I'll try contacting 602. All right, and what is your name?
Jill Childers.
Jill Childers?
Yes. There are people running around outside on their front porch.
But they're gone now?
No, they're running. One ran into the apartment, and now I just seen somebody run back out of the apartment.
We believe, I got a caller line thinks that they're at 206 Hazeldale right now, the shooters.
I am at 206 Hazeldale.
You're at 206?
This house is at 201 Hazeldale.
201 Hazeldale. 201 Hazeldale.
This is where it all came from.
That's where all of the sound, that's where all the shooting came
Me
from?
and my husband woke up. That's where the lights were on it. That's where the pickup came flying out of it.
Okay. And you're Jill Childers?
Yes.
Okay, Jill. All right.
I'm busy locking all my doors right now.
Yes, just stay away from your windows, stay away from all, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Call after call rolling into dispatch, all saying roughly the same thing. Multiple gunshots, rapid fire, and a truck peeling out of the property at high rate of speed. Other officers have been called, but no one has made it inside. No one knows what was going on, why all the initial gunshots happened. Friends of Tyler Peterson hung out with him into the wee hours of the morning on October 7th of 2007. They all believed he was in a decent mood. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary with him. At around 2 a.m., he texted a friend saying he was home and going to bed. But he didn't go to bed, and he was not in a normal mood. After hearing gunfire from the area of an apartment, an officer drove towards the sounds of the shots, where he encountered Tyler Peterson, a deputy with the Forest County Sheriff's Department. Peterson began spraying his squad car with bullets, injuring the officer inside. Then Tyler left the scene in a hurry. Still, we don't know what happened inside the apartment.
Forest County 911.
Hello?
Yes, Forest County 911.
Hello?
Hello, Forest County 911.
Yeah, we have a shooting outside our apartment building.
What's the address, ma'am?
We're behind Trish's Treasures. I think it's 107 North Lake Ave.
107,
Someone is sobbing, and they say they need an ambulance.
107 North Lake Ave?
It's by the post office, by the city police.
Okay. Your name?
April Albright.
Okay.
There's a woman sobbing saying somebody needs an ambulance. Like, we're in our apartment with the doors locked. We're just listening out the window.
Stay away from windows.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Peterson went to a party at his ex-girlfriend's apartment, where he found her with another man, Aaron Smith. After a fight with multiple people inside the apartment, with other people inside tormenting him and calling him a worthless pig, he walked outside towards his truck. As he was outside, the people that were remaining inside locked the door. Peterson walked back towards the apartment and forced his way in. He had gone to the truck to retrieve his department-issued AR-15 rifle. Once he made it back inside, he opened fire, hitting everyone inside, killing 6 and critically injuring a 7th, who, after being shot 3 times, played dead. After likely emptying his magazine towards the officer's patrol car, Tyler left the property at a high rate of speed. Officers found dozens of spent shell casings at the property. Dispatch knew this was going to be a big incident and immediately called for additional help.
We need to page. Hey, Bill. We need you up in the pod now.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice
Bring the pod
message
door.
system.
Buzz pod door.
Sheriff Van Cleve.
Hey, Keith.
Is not available. At the tone, please record your message.
I don't know how to page out SWAT. Where? SWAT. We need SWAT paged out.
There's a page number. What do you got going?
We got a shooter. He shot at Carter. Hit him.
Carter's hit?
He's not hit. Forest County Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys probably would have heard, but it sounded like there were a couple of gunshots.
Yes, we have that going on. We have officers en route. Thank you.
Okay.
Forest County Sheriff.
Forest County 911.
You put me on hold?
Yeah, I did, Danielle. We have officers paged, and we are extremely busy.
My husband said it was a Chevy, navy blue pickup.
Chevy navy blue pickup.
And he said it went down high rate of speed down to Hazeldale, and I believe he said it went down 8.
Okay, you believe it went down 8, down Hazeldale?
Well, he went high speed down Hazeldale. My husband's not sure which way he went to when he got there.
All right, then. All right, Danielle.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
The Forest County Sheriff's Department is a smaller agency. They had limited manpower and had a daunting task ahead of them. A manhunt to find a mass murderer. But this wasn't any murderer. He was one of their own. A rogue deputy with deep knowledge of the area and the tactics that would be used to find him. The calls for help didn't stop at calling for SWAT. In total, 18 agencies assisted with the attempt to find Peterson. Neighboring counties, state police, helicopters, and even the Michigan State Police helped out, though this would be no easy task. Reading again from the DCI report, what we were able to gather during our investigation was that Peterson had multiple cell phone contacts with individuals in which he confessed to his crimes. For example, at 3:45 a.m., Peterson left a message on his mother's cell phone stating that he had done something very bad. At 4:40 a.m., Peterson called back, telling his parents that he would not be able to handle life in prison, dealing with 6 life sentences. He refused to disclose his location, asking instead for his brother's contact information. He then called his brother twice, telling him that he had done something really bad, could no longer be a police officer, and that he could not go to prison. On the second call, he asked his brother for the best route to Stevens Point. His brother advised him to turn himself in, a message that was also repeated by his parents. He didn't drive to Stevens Point. Information that we've gathered indicates that he stayed in the North Woods. As a result of multiple conversations that they had with their son, Peterson's parents feared that Peterson would facilitate his own death. Though he did not tell them that he would kill himself, he did state that he would not shoot anyone else, even if they were shooting at him. While driving, Peterson also spoke with a Joshua Collette, who called him shortly after 6:30 in the morning. According to Collette, Peterson was emotional and admitted to killing 6 people. He told Collette that those at the Hazeldale apartment called him a worthless pig, and he snapped. The search area for Peterson was vast. Continuing from the same report, Forest County alone is over 1,000 square miles, with over 1,300 miles of road. Add in nearby counties of Oneida, Langlade, Vilas, and Lincoln, and law enforcement was faced with over 4,700 square miles of terrain and over 7,000 miles of road. This was ground not only to cover, but for out-of-county law enforcement to get to. Further straining resources, numerous law enforcement personnel were securing the scene at the Hazeldale property and maintaining order. Further complicating matters was that Tyler Peterson knew law enforcement tactics. He knew the area very well and had access to law enforcement communications through the radio he kept in his truck. If police talked over the radio, Peterson would hear. Moreover, Peterson was actively giving misinformation to those he spoke with, proactively trying to throw law enforcement off his trail. He told one contact that he was in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan when he wasn't. At approximately 5:45, Peterson called the Vilas County Dispatch and provided more misinformation. When he called that dispatch, he simply identified himself as a Forest County Sheriff's deputy. He would give short responses to questions and ask about what he called the renegade deputy that did the shootings. He asked the dispatcher, "What do you have for a vehicle description?" Dispatch there asked what time the shootings happened, and Peterson acted like he was looking at a case file when he said, "I think about midnight, but I'd have to look up the complaint." It seemed like within minutes, most of the residents in the area were awake and they had found out about the murders and also the manhunt. Some of them also called into dispatch, frightened for their own lives for various reasons.
Forest County 911?
Yes, this is not an emergency, but this is Elder Pagel. Apparently you guys had some trouble there tonight. My son's a little involved in this to say he was going on with one of the gals. I just need to know that my family's safe.
Elder, at this time, what we're telling everybody is just to stay in your residence. We do not have all the information. We can't release any information right now.
Well,
all I can tell you right now is just to keep everybody, use your best judgment. All right?
Yeah.
That's all we can advise you right now.
Okay, so in other words, it's not safe.
Just all I can tell you is just to use your best judgment and,
all right.
All right?
Well, we're kind of humped up here with a bunch of people right now.
Okay. So. Yeah, just all you can tell you is just to use your just budget.
Is there a chance that anybody could contact me when things are kind of back to normal?
We have, we're going to release a statement, but we can't contact every single person who's called in.
Okay.
Do you not understand? We have so many.
It's just my son's my son and another boy kind of involved in this a little bit, and I just want to make sure we're...
Okay, how are they involved?
Well, ex-boyfriend, boyfriend, to some of these kids.
Okay, were they involved directly in any kind of incident tonight?
Not tonight. They're quite aware of what's going on, but they just want to make sure that there isn't any reason for us to be concerned that for our safety or our kids' safety.
Yeah. Like I said, right now we can't release any kind of information. All we can tell you is to use your best judgment, all right?
Who am I talking to?
This is Jesse.
Jesse, okay. All right.
All right, that's all we can tell you, all right?
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Elder. Have a good night. Bye.
The caller on that one, his son was a boyfriend of one of the victims. He wasn't sure if this murderer was going around targeting certain people, so he was concerned for his son and the rest of his family. As the hours ticked by, word got out of the description of the vehicle Peterson was likely traveling in. That prompted calls from people with various sightings.
Forest County 911, may I help you?
Yeah, County Blind calling. I just had a phone call come in and said they seen, they're pretty sure it was Tyler on P out by Oregon.
He's up on P on Argonne, traveling in which direction?
They just said they passed, the kid, a buddy of mine just called me, said they just passed him, he's heading towards the farm, so that means Tyler's got to be heading away from it.
So he's heading towards which farm?
They were heading out towards Bud Ison's
Heading out towards Bud Ison's on P?
Yep. And they said they passed the black Chevrolet cab and a half and a silver toolbox.
Sure. Did they say how many people were inside the cab?
No, they did not.
Okay, but he is heading in a easterly direction on P.
I'm not sure if it's east or west.
It is. If he's heading out toward Bud Ison's, I would imagine.
He might have been coming from Bud's. All I know is
but all right, thank you. He was by Bud Ison's. He is on P.
That's what they just said. They passed the black cab and a half pickup with a silver toolbox.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Law enforcement wasn't able to get Peterson while he was on the run. Instead, he stopped running, temporarily. At approximately 7:50 a.m., Peterson returned to the Keegley property, where he had been 8 hours earlier before he was a killer, when he was dropping off his companions after an evening of drinking beer and shining deer. Katie Champeau, Matt Carruthers, and Mary Keegley were there when Peterson arrived. Peterson told them, "I did something real bad," and that he just cracked. Peterson was urged to turn himself in. He told those present that he would. While there, Peterson turned the murder weapon over to Carruthers and Keegley, but kept his pistol on him. While Peterson was at the house, David Howell and Stacy Champeau arrived, followed later by Ken Carruthers. Peterson did not turn himself in. At approximately 8:30 a.m., Tyler Peterson left to meet with his mother and grandmother on a country road. At the meeting, Peterson was shaking and stated he wanted to speak with the district attorney, but he had to leave the area. It was only shortly after Peterson left the Keegley house at 8:30 a.m. that law enforcement had contact with the persons at the house, who told him that Peterson had been there. Law enforcement had also received information that Peterson was at a property on Gibson Lake, but were given a different address than the Keegleys. Based on the latter information, special response teams were deployed initially to Gibson Lane, but not directly to the Keegley house. After meeting with his mother and grandmother, Peterson returned to the Keegley house. At approximately 9:15 a.m., Mike Keegley made a 911 call informing law enforcement that Peterson was there. Because special response teams had gathered or were en route to a nearby location, they were able to quickly get to the Keegley house, and by 9:27 a.m., tactical officers from Vilas, Oneida, and Langlade counties began staging in the area. At about 9:30 a.m., Mary Keegley called 911 and confirmed Peterson was still armed. Shortly after that call, Mike Keegley called 911 and told the Crandon police chief that Peterson was aware law enforcement was there. The next 3 hours were a standoff. Peterson ate, drank coffee and soda, and spoke to those at the house of his crime and other matters. Joining Peterson at the Keegley house were 7 people. Though many were able to leave, Matt Carruthers, David Howell, and Vincent Shubb Jr. remained at the house. Those leaving were questioned by law enforcement, who controlled the road leading to the Keegley house. Intermittently, throughout this time, Peterson continued to contact law enforcement and also spoke with his father, who was at the command post. He wanted to speak to District Attorney Stens, who was out of town. At 12:04 p.m., District Attorney Stens was able to call the command center on a taped telephone line from the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Over the course of about a 20-minute conversation, Stens repeatedly attempted to persuade Peterson to make a good decision and to turn himself in. Peterson refused. Though he stated the people with him were in no danger, he referred to them as collateral. He demanded that he be allowed to drive himself to Oneida County to turn himself in while still armed and with people who were with him. Though Stens made multiple attempts to persuade Peterson to disarm and let the people at the cabin go free, Peterson still refused. By this time, tactical officers had visual contact with Peterson. Shortly after the phone call with Stens ended, at approximately 12:25 p.m., Peterson spoke with Forest County Chief Deputy Ken Van Cleve on the telephone. Chief Deputy Van Cleve advised Peterson that tactical team members were deployed and that Peterson was not going to be allowed to leave. The tactical officers in the area were not able to assault the cabin at this time for a number of reasons. The difficult and unfamiliar terrain impeded the team's ability to deploy and completely contain the scene. Additionally, irrespective of how the people with Peterson perceived themselves, as long as Peterson was armed, law enforcement had to treat those with him as hostages. Based on the entirety of the information available to law enforcement at the time, and the professional judgment of those present, there was no moment when an assault could have been risked without the high potential for further loss of life. Dispatch there in Forest County was aware of everything going on, but just like anything, they were curious how this was going to turn out. They then received another phone call.
Forest County 911.
Hi, Special Agent Jody Warmick calling from the scene out here on Gibson. They're requesting like med flight or life flight for a apparently gunshot injury.
Okay.
Can you make that request and then let me know? I'll give you my call back. It's Jody, and I'm out here with Vilas, Forrest, Oneida, and DC.
Okay. You just need to, where do you want them to meet? Just wherever? Or?
Just make the request, call me back, and we'll get you a landing zone.
Okay.
All right?
Bye.
Yep, bye.
This call was followed up a few minutes later by a very short phone call.
Forest County 911, may I help you?
Yes, it's Special Agent Jody Warmick calling again from DCI. You can disregard on that request for EMS or med flight. Subject is down 1040.
Very good. So we can cancel?
You can cancel.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
At about 12:30 p.m., a tactical officer observed Peterson walking north towards the woods. As Peterson moved into the cover of the woods, knowing the threat that Peterson posed, the tactical officer fired a single shot at the last piece of Peterson's body he could see and, at 140 yards, struck Peterson in the left arm. The bullet passed through Peterson's left bicep. Witnesses then heard two quick shots, followed a second or two later by a third shot. Officers approached Peterson's location, moved his pistol away from his hand, and then handcuffed him. They then checked for signs of life, determining he was dead, then removed the handcuffs. It was determined that Peterson shot himself and caused his own death. He had shot himself 3 times in the head. How could Peterson shoot himself 3 times in the head before dying? According to the autopsy report, the first 2 shots entered Peterson's chin, one exited his left eye, and the other lodged in his temple. Those 2 shots caused extensive damage to the front of Peterson's head, but neither entered the brain or caused cerebral damage. The third shot entered the right side of Peterson's head, traveled through his brain, and exited the left side of his head. After several hours, a manhunt for a killer was finally over. Residents in the area could finally breathe a sigh of relief, but the time for grieving for the victims had just started. Murdered that early morning were Peterson's ex-girlfriend, 18-year-old Jordan Michelle Murray, Katrina Lee McCorkle, who was also 18, Leanna Faye Thomas, 17, Bradley Stephen Schultz, 20, Aaron Edward Smith, also 20, and Lindsay Lou Stahl, just 14 years old. That's all for this one. Just goes to show you that for dispatch, it doesn't matter if you're in a big city like mine or a tiny town of only 1,700 people. All hell can break loose at any moment, even in the middle of the night. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so in one of a few ways. Give the show a 5-star rating and review on whatever podcast app you're listening on. You can also come on over to patreon.com/MusicCity911 and sign up for ad-free episodes and bonus content. Patreon members, be looking the next couple days for another bonus mini episode. Be sure to follow the show on all social media as well as on YouTube. And as always, share the show with anyone you know who listens to podcasts. Or maybe try to convert the people in your life that don't listen to them. Give them something to do on their way into and from work. Until next time, for Music City 911, I'm Brandon, and y'all have a good one.